This week we're back working on my square body truck. We do a headlight upgrade with some Holley Retrobrights. Man, thank you guys so much for joining. Parking outside and there was a ton of He started this project. Found a piece of brass he's gonna take. Alright everyone. Alright guys, if you've been following us on social media and different stuff, you have seen this truck. This is my 86 Chevrolet C10 and I got a set of Holley Retrobright headlights to put in this thing. When Emily was driving it with Riley late last year, it was dark, it was rainy. She came home, she was mad, she couldn't see very well. It's fair, the halogen bulbs that were in this thing were really terrible. So I kind of splurged a little because I know she likes to drive this truck, I love to drive this truck, and I want to make sure I can see out of it whenever we're driving at night because it's pretty often we get stuck out at night in it. These are the Holley Retrobrights LED headlights. Dang, looks awesome. These things they look exactly like the factory ones. And it's really great how much they match. I can't stand those ones that have like a bunch of other little lights in them and stuff. Those look so bad, but man, these look awesome. Let's throw these things in the truck. So I went ahead and pulled the bezel off of this side. It's pretty straightforward there. There's 4 Torx head screws. 2 down here and 2 up here. Got to lift the hood, pick that up, pull the bezel off. So that's really easy there. And then once you get in here, I'll pull you in here, I'll show you. Once you get in here, you can see that the housings are held in by these bezels right here. There's a screw here, 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 and here. You can take those out. You don't have to mess with these guys on the side and in the middle top. Those are actually the adjusters. So we can pull this off, we can pop the light out, and then right there we'll show you how similar the factory light for this truck is versus the Holley. And it looks exactly the same. And these things are tremendously brighter. So, alright, let's get this thing pulled out and we'll do it. So you see there's the housing, the bezel that's holding the light in, and this guy just slides right out. And there's one plug on the back here. Plug it. And because of these, on the low beam side of this is literally just as simple as plug and play. It's really nice. You can take this, it's got the 3 prongs here, you can see that. We take that out. We can take the cord that's on the back of this guy, and it's going to directly plug right in. Just like that. Feed the wire back in, make sure the Holley's upright. And now we can put the housing back on, go back right the other direction. Simple as that. Now on the bottom side, on the high beams, there's a little trick, and I'll show you guys that as soon as I get this put back in place. I went ahead and pulled the high beam bulb out of this guy, and you can see it is a 2-prong versus the 3-prong. So on a halogen light like this, it doesn't matter which way you plug that plug in. You can plug it in, power on this side, ground on this side, or vice versa. It's going to work either way. It's not a big deal. Now on the Holley lights, it is a little different. You have to make sure you get the power side to the proper power plug and the proper ground to the proper ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the other light in here, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to plug it in and figure out which direction it needs to be, what color needs to go to which. And then I've actually bought some new plugs, and I'll pull you in here and show you those new plugs. So you can see here this plug is a 2-pin plug, but you saw how the plug is made on the Holley headlight, and it has the 3. And this, no matter which way you try and do it, you can force it to where it'll go in here, but I don't really like that. So what I did is I went to the Napa store and I got one of these plugs, which is the proper fit to go plug into the back of that headlight. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the wires out of this guy and I'm going to plug my old wires into it, and then I'll have this one here, which is just the low beam, so it doesn't need to actually make connection on the Holly light. Just take this wire out completely, then I have all 3 terminals on the Holly light safe, secure. They're not going to get messed up, but we'll be able to get power to this pretty easily. So disconnecting these plugs, these wires out of these plugs are pretty easy. I've got a really small screwdriver here. I'm going to just run that in here. There's a little lever there. You can take, it'll disconnect it out of there. And then you just pull it right out the back. Pretty easy. Same thing on the other side. Push that pin in. And if you can't get it to disconnect good, push forward on it. And then I'll make sure it's not hooked on the plastic, and that should let you push that pin down better. And it should just pull it right out just like that. Now we can plug the light in here, figure out which one's power, which one's ground. You would think the black would be ground, but that's not always the case. So we're gonna plug this in here, check it, and then go from there. So you can see there, got green on the left side. If you're looking at the back of the plug, or looking at this way, the right side, the green side is on, and then the black side's on the left side of that plug there, and that has the light lighting up. So now we can get the other plug modified and get it plugged back in. The good thing, this plug right here is exactly the same. You you can get those fingers to let down. It'll pull these wires out. Like I said, I'm just gonna pull these wires out, leave this middle one with no wire in it, and then wire up our green one on this side and wire up the black on this side. Just for your information, part number on these plugs at Napa 787100. There they are right there. There was some in Mars Hill, and then or there wasn't any Mars Hill. They got them in Asheville. They literally had them for me. I ordered them this morning. They were there at 3 o'clock today, so should be pretty available. Should be pretty easy. These are actually even easier to disconnect than the other one. Simple as that. Now all we gotta do, bring the plug in right here. I'm gonna make sure I've got my light right. So I need green on this side, black on this side, green on this side, black on this side. So we plug them in. And these same ones should work. These same connectors that are on here. I'm gonna bend these fingers out a little bit to make sure that they grip good when we plug it in. Run that in here. Now watch me be a liar. Nope, they don't fit. Never mind. So normally I would be bummed that my idea didn't work, like those just plugging right in, like I thought they would. But after a little inspection, I'm really glad it didn't work actually. So if we get in here and look, I pulled the wire out here, and you can see there's just this giant bare spot in this wiring harness that's been there for who knows how long. And it's kind of the same thing on the black one here. It's got a big nick in it here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go behind this mess, nip it off, and then connect up this guy with the new wires onto it and just eliminate all of this problem, and we'll be back in business. I really like using these heat and shrink connectors. These are the pink ones, and I always make sure, you guys have heard me if you saw me when I was wiring the 55 truck, I always make sure to, whatever I do, to get the smallest connector that will easily go over that wire, because I like to have a good strong mechanical crimp in there to back up this heat shrink connection. So this is going to keep everything waterproof. This has fixed a problem that I didn't even know I had. So again, not normally do I like it when my ideas don't go well, but right now I'm really glad this went like this, and I'll probably just go ahead and do the same thing to the other side, whether it needs it or not, to make sure that this is, to make sure that it doesn't happen over there. And I'm not crazy, that one's actually the right wiring, so you can see this light is on now. We'll go ahead and get this buttoned up, and we should be good. Get ready to check this out. Holy smokes. These things are insanely bright. And if you think about that over this old halogen bulb, holy smokes. And as far as easy to install, literally as easy as it comes, other than having to change a plug. But some you don't even have to do that with. It was just because of these quad headlights on the square body truck. I love them. I'm gonna get these bezels put back in place, and this is going to be so much better to drive at night. Alright guys, we wanted to adjust these headlights to show you guys how we were going to go about adjusting these. So we started filming and started working on it, and when we did that, we found out that one of the adjusters on this thing is broken. It won't work. When you try and screw it in, it just will not screw in. And it's actually the high beam on the driver's side. And so it's basically just pointed at the ground right now. It's kind of to the left and down. So we're going to go ahead and throw a new adjuster in this thing. And then I'm going to we're going to work around not having darkness because it's the middle of the day right now. We're going to work around that a little bit because I have an almost 2-year-old who likes to go to bed early. And we just did this right when the time change happened. So it gets dark a lot later than it used to. So we're going to try and get around that by using the shop here. It gets pretty dark in here when you turn off all the lights. I'll show you guys that. But first I'm going to throw this adjuster in real quick. So you see right there, the threads have definitely been stripped out of this thing. So it was time to replace it, even though I think this was one that I have put in it before. So I'm not sure what happened there, but anyway, junk. Alright, we got a new one right here. This guy right there. This just clips right back in place here. I'm going to... what I did was I just pulled the screw out, left the spring and everything on the bottom of this guy. So now I'm going to pull this screw off of this, clip this back in place, hook the screw onto this right here, and I can put it back together. So we got the new adjuster put in there. That is ready to go. Now let's see if we can roll the engine stand over here, get a good reference point on this thing, and then we can start adjusting these headlights. Alright, so this is what we've come up with. We have our engine hoist here. And we have one of our big sheets that we have here that we use to kind of put on fenders and stuff when we're working on things. And so this thing is going to act as our, I think they call it like a headlight visual board or whatever. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to measure the height of these headlights and figure out where the height is, and then mark that on this sheet here so that we know when we back this thing up 25 feet where this needs to be kind of lined up at. So that's the first thing we're going to do, get our heights right, and then go from there and get some, I'll just put some masking tape on it, use that as a point of reference, and then we can start working on getting these things directed in so people aren't flashing their lights at me mad because I blinded them with these crazy bright Holly Retrobrights. Alright, so Dad's got the door held partially closed here so we can get it a little bit darker in here, but you can see kind of how this is. So this is where we're 25, just a little over 25, or a little under 25 feet away from this. Truck's setting pretty level. Using our sheet here to kind of hone this in. These are our low beams, so we're pretty close. We just maybe need to bring, what do you think, this one up a little bit, Dad?
Looks like.
This one down just a hair.
That looks like it's good.
Pretty good.
Well, this one over here needs to come up just a little bit.
So yeah, we can see left side one is good. You think it needs any left to right? We'll check it. I'll move it in a little and see.
This side needs to come to the left.
This right side needs to come to the left and up. So we'll go out here. I'll show you the adjusters. So now we're going to let this thing go to the left, which means we're going to loosen the screw. What do you think?
Alright, bring it up.
Okay. Now we're going to take this, go into the top screw. We're going to tighten that screw.
Good.
Good? Alright, now you can see that those both are good.
That's good.
Alright, happy there?
Yep.
Alright, cool. Those look really nice. Now let's turn on the high beams. Click. We know the left side one's going to be a little crazy because I just put that new adjuster
Left
in.
side needs to come way to the right.
Way to the right. Okay. So we're gonna again go on this high beam. We need to go to the right, so we're gonna loosen this screw. Alright, we got the high beam on the right hand side. lined up pretty well there. I think that's gonna work out pretty good. I took a t-shirt and covered up this side, and I'm gonna swap the sides real quick so that we can get this other one dialed in a little better. It's just a little hard to see with the out of cover on them. There we go. Go to the left with the left one. Okay. So now we've got these all four adjusted how we want them, using our center lines there as reference. Now this will probably need some tweaking over time, but this should give us a really good starting place here on getting these things adjusted up. Hopefully not blinding people, but also maximizing how much we can see here. All right, now that those are adjusted, let's let it get dark. We're gonna take this thing for a test ride and see how they do. So as you can see, whenever we're going down the road like this, low beams are like this, they look really good. You can still see, you can see really well. And then man, when the high beams come on this thing, it's like the sun came up. Even driving around as dark as it is right now, you can just easily see everything that's going on here, anywhere on the side of the road. So like there's a lot of deer on our road and stuff. So being able to see deer and things like that, especially coming down our little two-lane road here, super important, especially this late at night. Man, gosh, aren't these things just awesome? Also, I was reading online that these things, when the high beams are on, sometimes it wouldn't allow the high beam indicator to work. As you can see the two blue dots there at the top of my stock gauges here, it's working just fine. So other than the intermittentness of it in general, but when the indicator light is on and it's actually functioning how it's supposed to, there's no problem here. You can see it works just fine with the high beams on. Needless to say, I'm very, very happy with how these things are running. I really, really like them. Alright guys, I think that's gonna pretty much wrap us up. I'm very, very happy with this truck. I'm very, very happy with these headlights. Talk about a big upgrade over what I had in it. You can see so much better. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope this talks you into getting some Hollies if that's what you want to do for your ride too. So we'll see you guys next week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. And we'll see you whenever we come back. See y'all later.